So this is a bit of a confusing picture. Now you might have heard of this. What it is, there's plans apparently to have Thor, or movie Thor 4, to have a female lead Thor actress alongside Chris Hemsworth. And it's a bit confusing because it's apparently been said by Tessa Thompson, and other people are saying that she didn't say that. Yet this other article has quoted her as saying that there is even a female Thor. And also the female Thor character was introduced to the comics in 2015. It was actually Natalie Portman's character who picked up Thor's hammer because she had cancer and it gave her the cure for cancer. So there is a female Thor character who exists in the comic. There's also an interview with Carl Urban some time ago, I think around 6 months ago, where he said that they should be a female Thor character in the movies. So this idea has been put around for a little bit of time, and I have seen some people really attacking this idea, but I really like it because it's going to keep the Thor movies fresh, and that's obviously a real challenge because you have to keep them really new, really entertaining, especially when you go beyond the trilogy, because most stories, when they go beyond the trilogy, you have to really push them and bring in new characters. And for me, this character has the potential, and I'll use that word, that's the potential to be a great female character. It could be the next Ripley, a really strong character. But what's happened is, because so much identity politics has been pushed into these movies, predominantly by Disney, many people are fearful. So when they see the concept of a female character, they're now fearful what it might turn into, or how it might be used as just some feminist propaganda, like Captain Marvel, and they release it on International Women's Day, tweet about International Women's Day movement, and don't give any credit to the charity. All those types of things where they just use and try to cash in on feminism. And that's happening also with this movie. But I'm going to be very positive about it because it could be a great character. What I'm going to point out though, it is Natalie Portman's character, and I just think that it's quite obvious she'd be wrong as a Thor character. She's far too petite. Don't know her age, but I think, yes, she's currently 37, so let's say this movie doesn't come out for another 2 or 3 years. She's going to be too old and too petite to be this female character, because you'd imagine it would be quite a strong, well-built woman, perhaps in her mid-20s. So if they go down that route, because again, they may want this female Thor character to come into the other Marvel movies and to effectively replace Chris Hemsworth, potentially. So it will be perhaps a younger woman who takes on that role, and they may change the stories against the comics. So the comics will be based on Natalie Portman's character, they might introduce it differently in the movie. Also, with Chris Hemsworth, he's doing Men in Black International, which is out in the summer. If that movie takes off, he may decide to switch to that franchise or to move away from Thor, because there has been suggestions that he's a bit tired of playing Thor. And obviously he will be having discussions with Marvel, so he will sit down with Marvel and they would try and put together long-term plans about what they're planning to do and also what he wants to do with his acting career. But for me, I'm going to be positive about this because it has the potential. It's just all this identity politics that's kind of ruining what people are thinking in advance of these female characters. We saw it with Rey. Rey was a complete Mary Sue, and now even in the trailer of Star Wars Episode 9, she can leap over TIE fighters as if she's like a human cockroach. It's just ridiculous. But again, if they create normal, regular characters like they did with Wonder Woman, and Gal Gadot came out and said that she just wanted Wonder Woman to be a normal character. She didn't want it to be any sort of feminist icon, just a normal character who happens to be a female character. That's what they do with male characters. They make male characters and they say, right, how can we make this male character interesting? Whereas Disney appears to be throwing in these identity politics as if we have to feel sorry for these female characters or have some sort of political issues with them, and that is what's concerning so many people. But if it is true that they are developing a female character or a female Thor character alongside Chris Hemsworth, it could be a great movie. It could be a really fresh way of presenting Thor, because obviously you've got the trilogy. If you want to watch 4 movies, there's already 3 movies there, so why not do it differently? Why not change it up? And they have to do that. They have to keep these movies fresh, because obviously they can't bring back the Incredible Hulk because they've done that. There's certain limitations which they have. They have to keep moving it and making it different. But again, a lot of it will depend on what Chris Hemsworth wants to do. If he wants to continue as Thor, or if he's decided to move on to something else, that will have a big impact. But also, they'll have to go out and find the right actors. That's the key to this role. It'll be a very demanding role because they'll be acting alongside Chris Hemsworth. So you won't want a petite Thor female female character stood alongside Chris Hemsworth, who's built like a Greek god, because she won't look imposing. She'll look like a miniature female Chris Hemsworth, and it just won't look effective. That's my opinion. But if you see people making videos dismissing this idea and trashing it without even giving it a go or understanding the potential of it, that's really sad. But that's just a reflect of what Disney has done with Rey and what they've done with Captain Marvel, of just throwing out these identity politics and hoping it will stick. And it's a way of getting publicity. That's really what it is. It's just a great way to get publicity for their movie. And if you look at Captain Marvel, it's outperformed Wonder Woman at the box office, so it shows that it works. It shows that if you throw in these identity politics into the movies, that they can make more money than other movies. So they might do that with Female Thor. They might throw Female Thor as some female icon instead of just making a great story and focusing on the story. But they didn't do that with Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel has worse reviews than any movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it really depends what approach Disney make, and if they learn from their mistake. If they think we can make good female characters and make good, strong, entertaining movies without having to rely on identity politics, that's the lesson that I think they need to learn, and they may learn that from Captain Marvel. So when they come to make a Female Thor movie, they will take a lot more of a mature approach and just make a female character without throwing in this cheap, petty identity politics that just ends up irritating so many people. So for me, based on what I've seen so far, I'm quite excited about this, but leave your comments below. What do you think? For me, I'm going to be positive about it because it has the potential to be a great character. If you disagree, leave your comments below, and also like and subscribe. But for me, this could be a great character. This could be the next Ripley or the next Princess Leia. So I'm just going to be positive about it at this stage.